Hey everybody, welcome back to the Make Man Your Home channel, brought to you by Doug Schauf with the Make Man Your Home team at Remax Oceanside. You've probably been to Maine, you maybe come here in the summertime, and every time you're here, you're like, man, this is an awesome place. Maybe I should live here. We get that a lot. Today, we're gonna dive into some great towns if you are considering that move to Maine. We're gonna give some pros and cons on it. We're gonna talk, we're gonna have some laughs. You're definitely gonna wanna stick around all the way to the end because the last one's very cool. Let's jump right in. The first place we wanna talk about is Portland, Maine, the biggest city in Maine. You know, for those of you that love city life with a coastal charm, this is the town to look at. It's got a little bit of a skyline too, it's pretty cool. A food scene is really, really impressive. Like you'll leave Portland, Maine, and you probably went home and you're like, oh my God, that restaurant was so good, I gotta go back. Walkable neighborhoods, historic feel. I mean, the brick and everything, the cobblestone is really awesome in Portland. You know, very easy access to places like Back Cove, so you can walk around. They have great water views, skyline views. Eastern Prom is beautiful. Casco Bay is, of course, wonderful to look at. We've done videos about just about everything I just talked about. So check out some of those videos. Some cons when you're looking at Portland is home prices, you know, might make you think about your budget once or twice. They can be a little high. Traffic and parking can feel like, you know, a game of musical chairs, especially in the summertime. Us locals, we kind of know the drill. In the summer, we know where to avoid. You can get used to that, but traffic can be kind of crazy. Lots of tourists. Those could be some cons if you're looking to move here. But if you want like the city feel, but then also have, you know, easy access to like the rural and coastal and all that stuff, Portland is definitely the place to check out. In this video, we're gonna talk a lot about the towns right here in the Portland area, because that's really where a lot of the population, a lot of where people really want to go. But if you have any questions outside of Portland, you know, comment below. We're happy to chat about that. But next town that we want to talk about is South Portland. Super close to downtown Portland. There's also a mall. The main mall is in South Portland, so you have that feel if that's what you're looking for. It also has some great coastline there as well. It's pretty cool because the coastline of South Portland, while the coastline might not be fantastic, there's some industrial stuff and things like that there, but the view from South Portland is one of the best because you're staring at Portland. It's pretty cool. There's some beaches too. Willard Beach is great. A couple lighthouses, really very cool as far as the coastline goes in South Portland. Some cons though, some areas might feel more commercial than residential, like we were just kind of talking about, little industrial or commercial stuff like that. Housing prices are climbing fast, although I believe it's a little bit cheaper than Portland, so it does have that going for you. And the other con us locals want to talk about is the darn bridge. It's a drawbridge. Sometimes it's up at just like the wrong times, all right? But if you catch it, there's ways to go around it. If you want to know more about that, comment below, I'll let you know. Next on the list is Scarborough. So you got Portland, South Portland, Scarborough. That's kind of the going south. Scarborough is really kind of for those people that love the beach. You know, there's a few beaches in Scarborough. It's also huge geographically. Lots of great beaches, you know, including Higgins Beach, you know, Pine Point, Scarborough Beach, Ferry Beach. Easy access to like Route 1, 95 for like quick commutes and stuff like that. You know, tons of outdoor activities. You know, there's lots of hiking and paddleboarding, marshes, and all sorts of stuff. Now the cons are, you're definitely gonna need a car because of how big it is geographically. Real estate is getting pricey, but there's a lot of great like neighborhoods, cul-de-sacs, things like that spread out through Scarborough. So that's a little bit of a con, but maybe a pro if that's what you're looking for. Before we move on, stop. If you need help deciding, and I was a little dramatic there because it says that on the paper, say stop. So there we go. So if you're feeling overwhelmed with all these choices about what town to be in, especially in the Portland area, have no fear. We are real estate brokers, and me and my team would be happy to discuss it with you. Comment below. Our contact information is in the description. We get back to people very quickly, and me or a member of my team will you know, respond to you very quickly and help you out with any questions that you might have. And we'd be happy and honored to help you make your move here to Maine. So next on the list is Cape Elizabeth. This is where I work and live. So if you have any specific questions about Cape Elizabeth, really any of these towns, but because I live here, if you want to know something from a resident, you know, comment below. I'd be happy to help you out. Cape Elizabeth is also a little bit for like the beach lovers. There's a couple beaches here, waterfront town, stunning ocean views, because on one end of Cape Elizabeth, you're kind of looking at the islands. The other end, you got the open ocean, Richmond Island, things like that. It's really, really nice. It's a slower, more relaxed pace. The population isn't very big, but it's also a very quick drive into South Portland and Portland. So, you know, you get to feel tucked away, but you're not all that far. You know, places like Fort Williams with the Portland Headlight and Two Lights and Kettle Cove and Crescent Beach, there's just like the views and the things that you can do here are really awesome. We've done done some videos about Cape Elizabeth, so check those out. So I won't go into too much detail. Some cons here are the home prices are not for the faint of heart. Prices here in Cape Elizabeth are considerably higher than the surrounding towns. There's no way to sugarcoat that. It's just, it is what it is, but you do get what you pay for. Limited nightlife, that's for darn sure, limited nightlife. You know, unless your idea of nightlife is, you know, stargazing or, you know, going to bed at 9 o'clock. What's this one here? But anyway, Cape Elizabeth is, I like to be close to the action, but not really into the action. They have great views, great outdoor things, and you know, it's really, really a great town. We love it. Falmouth, affluent living with space to breathe. Some pros are, you know, spacious homes, larger properties, similar to Scarborough. Oh no, not quite as big, but geographically it is big. Thriving for boating, yachting scene. You know, there's some really great restaurants and marinas right there on the coast. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump over to Portland. Literally, it's like, boom, it's super close to Portland. So if you're working there or whatever and you want, you know, that easy access to Portland, Falmouth is really, really great. So some cons are a higher price point for homes, depending on where you want to be in Falmouth. Fewer restaurants and entertainment options than Portland, but a little bit more than like Cape Elizabeth. You know, so it's a good, like, you know, maybe a happy medium there. So if you want a mix of like luxury and space and easy city access, Falmouth might be the right place for you. So moving away from Portland, but kind of heading south, you know, we're going to talk a little bit about Biddeford. I'll bump like Saco Biddeford kind of together, that whole area. You know, we focus a little bit more on Biddeford just because it is one of these towns that's kind of going through hey, we're getting better and better as the years go by. It's kind of like that up and coming option. So some pros about the Biddeford area: affordable housing, and definitely compared to Portland, a lot more affordable. There's a decent amount of like multi-units there too. So if you're looking at that, like, hey, I want to live in one and maybe cash flow from the other units, things like that, you can get creative on that stuff. Rapidly growing food and art scene in Biddeford, you know, very cool now. Like they're really kind of redoing a lot of the mill buildings and stuff like that too, which is really making it fun to be in. You know, access to the Amtrak train, I believe it's called the Downeaster, you know, goes down that way to the Boston area, so really easy to jump on something like that. And of course, it's easy access to 95 Route 1, you know, to be able to commute that way. Cons are some areas are still transitioning from their, you know, industrial past and things like that. So, you know, you might drive through there and be like, what the hell's Doug talking about? But trust me when I say you will find some really great areas in Biddeford. It's awesome. Public transportation options are limited. You know, even though the train goes through there, I would say Maine in general has probably a problem with public transportation because we're so spread out. In a Saco Biddeford that's a little populated, it is limited there. So be careful there if you need that. But Biddeford is perfect for those who want a little bit of grit, you know, and a little bit of charm and a whole lot of potential. You know, check out Biddeford if that's your style. So we're going to keep going down the coast a little bit right now. We're going to talk about Kennebunk and Kennebunkport. Coastal New England at its finest, you know, very, very popular towns. Picture perfect coastal charm. It really is. The beaches and the coastline there is really incredible. You know, Kennebunkport in particular, you know, the shops and everything. When you're there, you're like, this is New England. Really beautiful beaches, top rated waterfront restaurants, great downtown for shopping and the dining scene. Some cons can be, it's expensive. You know, tourists and second home buyers drive up the prices for sure because of its proximity to like Massachusetts and New York. You know, a lot of those people that buy second homes out of those areas tend to look at Kennebunk and Kennebunkport for sure. Summer crowds can be a little overwhelming, like we talked about in Portland. Again, once you get used to it and you know how to navigate through there, it gets better, but it can still be a problem for sure. But if you want, you know, that classic Maine postcard-ish lifestyle, Kennebunk and Kennebunkport definitely deliver. Just be ready for summer influx of visitors because they're coming. All right, so now we're gonna kind of take a right turn and head kind of far away from stuff. We're gonna talk about like the Bridgton area. I'll kind of bulk it all together, like rural living, lake access. Bridgton, for example, is right on Long Lake, Highland Lake, boating, fishing, swimming, like that type of feel, which is a lot of areas of Maine for sure. But it's quieter, small town, but stunning scenery. Up there, you kind of get the mountains and the lakes and the rivers and the, you know, stuff like that you're looking at. Really beautiful. Winter sports galore. Pleasant Mountain is the ski resort there, very nearby. So it's really easy access to that if that's like your jam. For sure, a lot of stuff to do there in the winter and the summer. Some cons, you know, fewer shopping and dining options, you know, but hey, that is definitely part of the charm. Seasonal tourism, meaning that, you know, the vibe changes throughout the year. It really does. Depending on the season that you're talking about, it can be drastically different in those areas. So you want to be mindful of that. We've talked about a lot of towns so far, a lot of areas. You know, if you love the city life and the walkability, you might want to look at Portland. If you want more of the suburban conveniences, South Portland might be ideal for you. Beach lovers, Scarborough is a great pick if you want like quiet coastal retreat. Cape Elizabeth is awesome. For upscale living with more space, Falmouth might be the way to go. If you're looking for like an up-and-coming spot, like, hey, where are my values going to go up more? Probably. Biddeford is a great choice. If you want that classic Maine charm, Kennebunk and Kennebunkport is awesome. Or if you want more rural areas, you know, places like Bridgton and other areas in Maine that are, you know, further out are really a great option to look at. But if you have any questions, like we said before, you know, we are real estate brokers. My team responds very quickly. Comment below, reach out to us in any way, and we'd be happy and honored to work with you. And remember, if you make Maine your home, you don't have to do it alone. Hey, come here. Hey. YouTube thinks you're going to like one of these videos, so click on it and let me know what you think. And remember, come back again soon because we do a video every Friday.